it's sometimes very difficult to understand why they do the things they do, but that's because they communicate differently and they have different senses that make them perceive the world outside differently from what we do. So in order to understand our canine friends better, we venture to understand what exactly, what senses they use to perceive the world. And today, we take a deeper look into the sense of touch and especially how it relates to healing. Now, our doggy expert, Auntie Minal, joins us this morning to talk a little bit more about that. Auntie, how are you?
I'm well, yourself?
Very well. Now, whenever I see you, I always want to ask you first, how are Bob and Bella doing? Because I feel like you can communicate with them on a level that I yet can't. Are they doing well? Are they happy dogs?
I think they're exceedingly happy dogs.
Fantastic.
I'm very proud of them. They really are. They're brilliant.
Oh, look at that, look at that. And she recognizes that love all too well. So let's talk about how dogs perceive the sense of touch. How does that work with them?
Touch is one of the senses that actually is not that different from ours, except that they, again, in this league, can do better than we can. They're all over their body. First of all, touch is a universal animal language.
Yes.
For example, you can see, let's see, a squirrel and a rabbit and a deer all peacefully eating next to one another.
Yes.
And clearly they're not talking to one another and saying, I come in peace. And, you know, they just know that nobody's going to do the other any harm.
Yes, yes.
And this comes from them being able to read energy.
Oh, so there's an energy thing going on there.
Touch is more than just the touch.
Yes.
They can also read energy right across their body.
So this energy going on right now is like, good morning, Boba, good morning, Bella. Is this a friendly kind of thing there's nothing vicious about
They are
that,
just so relaxed in our company.
Okay, great stuff. Enjoy yourselves, kids. Enjoy yourselves. Yes, so you were talking about the sense of energy that goes on between them.
Yes, so if you have a look, well, let's have a look at one of them now. Bobby, come. Come on, Bobby, up.
Bella doesn't want to let him, but he's coming. He's coming. There he is.
Bella,
Bella,
I need to
calm
show
yourself,
you.
Bella.
Right across their bodies, they've got sensory perceptions. I mean, hairs and things. What happens is, particularly around the facial area, you'll see these sensory type hairs above the eyes,
okay.
The whiskers, on the muzzle area, and also under the chin, you'll find more hairs. Now, these sensory hairs,
little antennas,
absolutely, are pretty much located across the body, but more so on the facial area. And they are able to sense the airflow and the currents around objects.
Wow.
So therefore, and those hairs are all connected, where they connect to the body, are very rich in nerve endings and blood supply. So the minutest little movement of air and airflow around, they will pick that up. So for example, they can sense what we might call emotion. It's energy.
Really?
Yes.
Is that why when, let's say, a child would be hurt, maybe not necessarily not crying, a dog might come up to them and maybe cuddle up to them and lick them and, you know, kind of trying to comfort them in that way?
Yes, because they can sense that, that energy of neediness, that energy of help.
Yes.
They can also sense when there's something wrong with you, by the way, through different ways, medically. But that's something I think we're discussing next week.
Okay, all right. But let's talk about the sense of fear, which is a very strong one and a negative emotion by and large. So how do they experience that?
You know, sometimes you find a human being that most dogs will bark at, or a cat will like one dog and not another.
Yes.
These offending animals are giving off a nervous energy, a tension, and which is offending, essentially, to the well-being of what is happening in that particular scenario. So
even in yourself, keeping yourself calm around your dog really goes a long way.
The fear aspect, you could be driving along and you've passed a speed
trap
camera
or
trap or something, and you suddenly get this cold shiver up your spine, like, oh, you've got a fine.
Yes.
And don't be surprised if your dog suddenly bounces up from the back seat and starts barking at the
Oh my goodness.
Because he has sensed that fear and what's wrong? What's wrong? What's wrong?
Wow, that is amazing.
Absolutely, it's stunning.
So how can we then, as dog owners, use our sense of touch, because that's what we're talking about today, especially understanding energy to help our dogs?
The physical touch, stroking, for example, soothes immensely. So if you just stroke a dog, what you're doing is you're calming down, you're increasing the blood flow everywhere, you're adding a sense of calm. So any agitated dog in a heightened state in any way, soothing is very, very beneficial.
And it's a calm stroke, I see.
It's a calm, slow, gentle, firm stroke. You also get what we call Tellington touch is one of the options,
yes.
where they use this touch, but slightly differently, which is more aimed at the soft tissue and pressure points, and rubbing in certain ways, and also through the use of bandages wrapped in certain ways, where you can help, not only help the dog detoxify, increase blood flow, and a host of other medical type benefits.
So one should never ever underestimate that touch.
Touch
and how
is so important to the overall sense of well-being. It's for us humans too. You know, if your mom, your sister, your brother, your lover comes and touches, there's a sense of, oh wow,
yes,
connectivity.
I'm feeling it, yes, there we go. Yes. And as you were stroking Bella there, I could see Bob slowly drifting into sleep, and he was being so relaxed. Well, Auntie, thank you so much. Really, really appreciate it. As always, and Bob, what is this I'm feeling from you? Is that a bit of jealousy? No? Okay, don't worry. I'll stroke you afterwards. We're going to take a quick ad break. We'll be back. Come here, Bob. Come here.
Share the love with South Africa's most loved dog food, Bobtail, for strong South African dogs.